welcome to Fun&Gun. Got another pretty cool gun here on the table for you today. This is the Alpha Foxtrot Romulus Comp. This is the 5-inch variation of this gun. I want to go ahead and say a big thanks to my buddy Robert for letting me borrow this gun for the video. I want to go ahead and start off by showing you that this gun is unloaded. There is nothing in the chamber there, nothing in the magazine. Go ahead and set that off to the side here, and we'll start off with what the gun comes with. So first off, you're going to get this nice green soft case with a little leather patch here with the Alpha Foxtrot logo on it. On the inside, you're going to have a 20-round Checkmate magazine, a safety lock, the card to register the warranty here, the tool to remove the cover if you want to put a red dot on it, and the owner's manual there. And then you are also going to get a 17-round Checkmate magazine with this gun. So you are going to get 2 magazines. So that is everything the gun comes with. So let's go ahead and get into the gun itself. I want to go ahead and start off by talking about how slick this gun is, being fully DLC coated. It is pretty darn satisfying just to sit here and actuate the slide on this gun, being as smooth as it is. And on top of that, this slide is just extremely well fit to the frame there. As you can see, there is absolutely no slop in that at all. So that is pretty darn cool how well this is fit and how smooth it is at the same time. And then it also goes for the barrel. You have pretty much no movement in it at all. So that should lead to pretty good action with this particular gun as well. So overall, the main components of this gun are fit pretty darn good. Let's see here, while we're talking about the slide, it does have some nice front and rear serrations here. As you can see, they are very functional and they are pretty much identical to each other. And I will say I do prefer to grab the front, but if you want to grab the rear, you're going to be just fine with either one of them there. So you get some nice slide serrations, and that's pretty good when this gun has such a slippery coating on it. You want some good slide serrations to get a hold of. Now, while we're talking about touching this slide, it does leave fingerprints all over. This is an absolute fingerprint magnet, but kind of the cool thing about this finish is when you get fingerprints on it, kind of the skin of your oil onto it, it kind of gives it a color shift, as you can see there a little bit. So I thought that was pretty cool. So even though it's a fingerprint magnet, it looks pretty cool when it has fingerprints on it at least. While we're talking about the slide, we'll go ahead and talk about the sights here. You do get a set of night sights made by Night Vision, and there is a tritium insert in the front and 2 in the rear here as well. Blacked out front sight, nice bright yellow circle in the front here. So when you're shooting it without the tritium or just shooting it during the daytime, you're going to have a nice set of sights either way. On top of that, you can go ahead and move this optics plate that I mentioned the little tool for in the bag over there a second ago, and that's going to allow you to go ahead and put an RMSC style red dot on this. So it's going to be the smaller red dot footprint. You're not going to be able to put a full-size RMR or anything in that size category on this particular gun, which kind of a drawback in my opinion. With the gun this nice, I would have liked to have seen them have an optics plate to go ahead and allow you to put a full-size red dot on this. And that's kind of the only budget-oriented thing about this entire gun, I would say, is the fact that they went without the optics plate there. Not a bad thing, I guess. You still have the option of putting a red dot on it. It's just not a big red dot. So that kind of covers everything on the slide there. Let's go ahead and start moving down to some of the other parts here. We'll talk about the slide stop, which is something I actually like quite a bit on this gun. As you can see there, it is just absolutely huge. But the cool thing is it is kind of up and out of the way there, the way it is swept. So even with my thumbs up on this, I am not going to prevent this from locking open, nor did I have issues making it not lock open. And as you can see there, even with it up, it's out of my way, and it's just really easy to actuate. So really like this slide stop on this gun. It also is fit nicely to the gun and is not trying to walk out either. So definitely a nice piece there. Let's go ahead and move on back here to the safeties. As you can see there, I can rest the full weight of the gun on the levers of the safety here, and it's not going to engage. So has a nice detent for it being off, and it also is nice and locked in when it is on. So safety is fit nice to the gun. It is ambidextrous, but you are going to get a little bit smaller paddle on the right side for left-handed use than you are going to get for the right-handed side here. So you're not going to get equal safety lever sizes there if you're left-handed, I guess. So that is one thing. We'll go ahead and talk about the grip safety. As always, would have preferred them not to put a grip safety at all, but the fact that it's on there, it's nice and smooth, and I didn't have any issues with it. Not a big deal. It's just no need for that, in my opinion, on this style of gun. I guess it's just that it is an added safety feature, I guess, but either way, it works just fine. So that brings us down onto the, let's go ahead and talk about the safety or the magazine release here. Now, this is one thing that it's nice and smooth, but I will say the button is very flush, or not flush, but really recessed into the grip right there. And I will say that for me, not being able to reach the magazine release with this thumb, but as you can see there, I got it depressed and the magazine's still not falling out. So would have liked it to at least been a little bit longer, or as always, I would have rather seen it drilled and tapped for a larger button. So that is something you could easily swap out yourself. That's just something I noticed, that the magazine release button is kind of short and making it a little bit harder to eject the magazines. Let's see, let's go ahead and talk about the trigger here. Now I will say this thing has an absolute awesome trigger from the factory. As you've seen there, the gun is unloaded still. Got just a touch of take up. Nice crisp break. And I will say the only kind of drawback to this trigger is the reset's a little bit weak, but that is something you can go in and retune the mainspring housing and fix yourself. But overall, really smooth trigger, nice and crisp, and it comes in at a nice 2.12 ounces. So this is a sub 3-pound trigger right off the bat, and you do have the ability to adjust. I believe that is your over travel right there. Now I will say that it does have more of a medium-sized trigger shoe, which is going to fit most people's hands, but for my hand size, it is a little bit of a long reach, and that is probably also some of the reason that I noticed the little bit of a weak trigger the trigger reset there, is because of how far I had to let my finger come out before it resets. That is also something, if you really like this gun, which I do, you could go in there and put a different trigger shoe in it, such as I have the one sitting here out of my Watchtower Demolition that I have sent off. This is a, let's see, this is a red dirt flat trigger shoe, so you could insert this into that and get the trigger shoe to wherever you want it at. So good trigger on it. As you can see there, it is nice and light right off of the rip there. You don't have to mess with the actual weight of it at all. Really like that. So let's go ahead and move on to the grip here. I will say this is an extremely comfortable grip. I like how it is nice and undercut right here, how this is recessed and wraps around. It gives my hand a nice place to go ahead and ride up into there. And I do prefer how it is kind of a little bit slimmer right there, because I have broken this finger before, so it doesn't bend like it used to. And for me, that actually makes this gun nice and comfortable by having it just be a little bit smaller diameter than the bottom half here. It is also a double undercut right there, so you can get a nice high grip on this particular gun. You got a little bit of texture on the front, so if you're one of those people that likes to wrap your finger around the front, you do have some good texture on the front. While we're talking about texture here, there is no texture at the top where it is undercut, so it's not going to rub your finger raw. And you have a nice large patch of stipple or texture right here. And I will say that locks onto your hand nicely. And that goes for the back strap as well. It has the same checkering on it as well. Just a little bit less of it. I don't know why they didn't go ahead and run that all the way across, but it does have some different checkering going up the sides there. But either way, locks on your hand good. Side checker, or the side stippling here, or this kind of this pattern, figured it would be a little slicker than it is, but once you get your grip onto this gun, your hand does kind of press into that, and it does lock in nicely, and on top of that, it just looks cool. Go ahead and move up to right here. It is kind of recessed right there on both sides, and that allows for your trigger finger to get to the trigger. Nice, so that's pretty cool how that's kind of pocketed out right there. Something that y'all hadn't seen on a whole lot of them. That's pretty cool. Let's see here, we got any hot spots? I'm gonna be honest with you, there is a little edge right there, but I did not notice it at all when I was shooting, nor did I notice the edge on either side of the grip safety. So overall, I would say that the gun does not have hot spots and feels good in the hand. That's going to bring us on down to the Magwell here. This is a nice aluminum Magwell. Now, for how big the Magwell actually is diameter-wise, the kind of entrance here on the Magwell is kind of small, but easy enough to go ahead and hit that Magwell. But as you can see there, the mag actually sticks out far enough, even with the flush base plate, to go ahead and fully insert it. And you got these little cutouts right here on the edge, or the edges of the Magwell. They correspond with the little cutouts on the Checkmate magazine, so you can strip the mag if you need to. So pretty cool feature, and those edges are nice and beveled off, so when you slam that in, it's not digging into your palm as well. That's something I had a problem with on the Stealth Arms Platypus, how sharp the edges are on the little cutouts right there. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, that's bad math. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 5 pick rails here on the bottom, so you should be able to mount anything you want. And then it's also got a little lightning cut running down the middle there that actually looks pretty cool as well. Now that's another thing. I would have liked to see them, like you got Alpha or AF19 Romulus right here on the side of the frame. You got a bunch of information right here. This is made in Georgia, which is pretty cool in my opinion. But I would have liked to see all that information ran inside of these Picatinny rail slots right here to kind of hide it all. I have a few guns that's done that way, and it just makes the overall outside of the gun look clean. I do like how they made the Alpha Foxtrot pretty small, and all the writing on this gun is pretty small other than the Romulus and its little window there. And it still looks pretty awesome either way. Just kind of I like how it's framed off. It just looks cool. So that covers everything on the back side of the gun here pretty much. Let's go ahead and move on to the front side, and what makes this the compensated version is going to be this 3-port comp. Now I will say, I'm kind of confused why they didn't just go ahead and open that up and make it one big comp. And I didn't know if this was actually going to work very well, but I did go ahead and put this onto slow motion. I put this in slow motion and put it in front of the little chart I used to see how much muzzle rise you get out of the compensation or the compensator on a gun. So I'm going to go ahead and head off that footage right there. We'll come back. We'll talk about that a little bit more, and we'll go ahead and close out the video after that. So let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that is the most scientific test ever, but what I do feel like it does is show you that this comp is working. It's working pretty good at that and working a lot better than I ever expected it to. And what I mean by that is I kind of just figured with these 2 small holes and this large hole in the top there, that would not be the most efficient comp ever. But as you can see there, I was wrong, and it turned into a respectable 1.5 inches of muzzle rise. And with the way this gun is sprung and that little muzzle rise, it actually snaps back down pretty quick, giving you a nice return to 0 as well. So overall, it's going to perform very well in that test, and actually better than some guns that are twice as much as this gun is or more, and right there on par with other guns that are more expensive than it as well. So with an MSRP of $1,690 and how well this gun is fit, how smooth it is, and just how nice the parts are on this gun, I feel like if you pick one of these up, you're not going to be disappointed with it. And that is all I had for you today. Okay, if you made it this far, I just want to say thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. If you're looking for more Fun&Gun right now, you can click one of the 2 recommended videos there. If you're looking for more Fun&Gun later, you can go ahead and click that there subscribe button. I sure would appreciate it. And if you're finding me from Facebook, go ahead and click that open app button at the top to make all that a lot easier. And I'll see you next time.